So over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of negative stuff being said about the UFC, a lot of complaining from fans, and rightfully so, mostly about like the matchmaking we're getting, some of these fights like the Burns versus Matlock card, stuff like this, Dana White clearly being uninterested, all this other stuff. So I thought I'd make an actual positive video today talking about the fighters, and I'm going to go through every single weight class and say who, in my opinion, the most entertaining fighter in that weight class is. Now, before we start, because I know people are going to be in the fucking comments saying, oh, how do you forget Mateus Rebecki? This is going to be ranked fighters, and mostly is going to be highly ranked fighters, just because I feel like an entertaining unranked fight, I prefer an entertaining fight with the guys ranked at the top, just in terms of I was more excited for that going into that fight, if you know what I mean. I don't know how to explain it, but it's going to be mostly guys ranked at the top, just because I feel like it's also better when we see the two best guys in the world having an entertaining fight compared to two random guys in the prelims of an Apex card, if you know what I'm trying to say. So it is mostly going to be, well, I think all of them are ranked, but it's mostly going to be guys near the top of the division, but all of them are still, in my opinion, in some of the cases, are the most entertaining guy in the division outright anyway, for most of them, and in the UFC in general. So we'll just get straight into it with the Flyweight division. This one was tough. A lot of these were tough. There's a lot of entertaining fighters in the UFC right now, but especially in these lower weight classes. And I've gone with Brandon Royval. Now, this man, no matter whether he wins or loses, 9 times out of 10, he's in an absolute banger fight, If we'll go through his fight history here, it's either a banger fight or a quick finish. That's basically all this guy had. I know he had the Pantoja fight, which wasn't great recently, but outside of that, cap fight, first round finish, and it was a pretty entertaining back and forth for the first few minutes of it anyway. Van, fight of the year last year. Fight before that, Tyra, great 5-round fight. It was a split decision, I forgot about that. Great 5-round fight. Shame it was in the fucking Apex. Either way, still a banger, The Moreno one was alright. I don't know how that was a split decision either. Nicolau, first round finish again, His Kai Kara France fight, damn, it was a while ago. His fight with Kai, crazy fight, especially with the finish. They both dropped each other, throwing spinny shit. It was mental. Even the first Pantoja fight was pretty interesting. So this guy's entire career, pretty much, Schnell, again, first round finish. It's just banger fights or first round finishes. That's basically what you're getting out of Brandon Royval, which is why I want him to fight Lona Kavanagh next, because that would be a mental fight. But in my opinion, he is the most entertaining guy at flyweight now. He's had one not so great fight pretty much in his entire UFC career, even when he was fighting Pantoja, who we know is one of the best flyweights of all time, and just held him down the entire time pretty much. But yeah, that's who in my opinion is the most entertaining flyweight. Jeez, he's 17-9. And this is why I wanted to fight Lona Kavanagh. I wanted to see him fight again soon. Come on, it's been like 4 months. Usually he gets back in there even after taking some crazy damage. But we move on to the next division, the Bantamweight division, and I've gone with the current champion, PAM. Now, even though there are probably more entertaining guys in the division, well, there are, in terms of like they have crazier fights, blah, 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 I just love watching PAM fight, which is why I'm putting him here. I'm as entertained as watching him do some cool spinny shit and just some insane boxing combinations. I'm more entertained watching that than a banger like 10 out of 10 fight of the night half the time. Like, every time I watch back this man's fights, it gets better each time. I've watched the Marab one back like 3 times already. It only happened a few months ago. And every single time it's like, gets better. Like, he's just so good everywhere. That Corey fight as well. Like, he's just throwing, I don't even know, like, combinations which I've never seen. It's just him doing it. And even in some of his other fights, that aren't necessarily like bangers, like the Song Yadong fight, it's just entertaining just because of how good he is and how clean his combinations is, how well-rounded he is, when he goes for that trip. He got one against Figgy fight, I forgot how good of a fight that was. I remember I watched that card, I was dying, I had the flu, and it was just, I was like, I missed the entire card. I woke up just because I wanted to watch the Yan fight, and at the time it didn't seem like that great of a fight. I went back and watched it before his next fight against McGee, and it was like, holy fuck, this was actually a banger, like great performance and a great fight. And that's what I think half of Jan's career is, It's underrated how entertaining his fights are just because everyone's talking about how fucking insanely good this guy is. So yeah, he also is involved in some bangers as well. Like the Marab fight was a great fight objectively. The Sean fight was fight of the year, arguably. So he is also in some great fights as well. It's not just that he's the most entertaining fighter to watch just because he is arguably the most skilled guy in the UFC right now. But on to the next guy. Now at featherweight, there is a few. I was a little bit biased with this one. There's a few options at featherweight, but I went with Kevin Vallejos in the end. If you want to go with Diego Lopez, I'm not going to argue with you. If you want to go with Gene Silva, I'm not going to argue. Even like Arnold Allen, I ain't going to argue with any of them. I just went with Vallejo just because I love watching him fight. You know, his boxing is so clean to watch. The way he's finishing guys recently. That Josh Emmett one. We've not, like, I know we said, like, people say this a lot. Like, Joe Rogan was there every pay-per-view. But, like, the way he beat Josh Emmett, I wasn't expecting that. You know, we've seen Josh go 5 rounds with Ilya. Even in the fight where he got finished recently with Zalal. It was the armbar, you know, it was the grappling. On the feet, we've never seen someone put him away that quickly and that easily. You know, and that's just why I like watching Kev. And he is also involved in some great fights. That Danny Silver fight was fight of the night. Gene Silver fight was one of the best fights I've seen on the Contender Series. Well, maybe not, because the Contender Series is fucking mental. But it was still a great fight between him and Gene Silver. But again, at Featherweight, there's like 5 different guys you could go. You could go with Gene Silver, you can go with Lopez, you can go with Vallejos, you can go with Arnold Allen, you can even go with some guys lower ranked, lower down in the rankings in the division. It's a stacked division in terms of entertainment, but I went with Vallejos. A little bit of bias, but I don't give a fuck. We move on to the lightweight division, another one where there's about 8 different options that you can have. I feel like this is the most obvious one though, even though there is so many entertaining guys. Like, I feel like Justin Gaethje is just universally accepted as the most entertaining guy, potentially in UFC history now. I mean, let me just go through his fights. Paddy, fight of the year so far, arguably. Fiziev, banger fight. Holloway, overrated fight. I'm going to sound like a dick. Overrated fight, but the ending just makes it so no one's ever going to forget anyway. The most entertaining 10 seconds in UFC history, you know? Genuinely, like, I know people, I've said this like 5 times before, and everyone in the comments like, yeah, you're a fucking casual. If the knockout didn't happen, no one would talk about it as a great fight, but because it did happen, it's like fight of the year. But either way, it was still a good fight, it's just slightly overrated, you know? Poirier, it was a decent scrap for as long as it lasted, and obviously it was a crazy head kick. Fiziev was fight of the year. Oliveira, one of the craziest 1-round fights ever. Chandler was fight of the year. Like, almost every single UFC fight this guy's had has either been an insane first round knockout or a fight of the year. Like, all 3 of these were like arguably the best fight of their year, and some of them were in the same year as each other, so it couldn't be. Again, first round KO. When he went on this streak of just knocking out all these guys in the first round, it was crazy. But Gaethje, I think, is universally accepted as the most entertaining guy in the UFC, probably UFC history right now. Especially when you consider he's also doing it against the other top guys in the division. It's not like he's having entertaining scraps and knocking out bums. Like, he's doing it against Max Holloway, you know, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, some of the top guys in the division, which I think makes it even more impressive. That's kind of what I was saying at the start, you know, where there's going to be more ranked guys just because it's more impressive and more entertaining, and there's more hype going into the fight when it is the 2 top guys in the division. So that's why I've gone with Justin Gaethje for lightweight. But again, like, if you went with Max, I'm not going to disagree with you. If you went with Charles, even though nobody would after his last fight because everyone is weird about his last performance, you know. But either way, even if you went with Ilya, I probably could have gone with Ilya. But there's so many guys you could have gone. But I just went with Gaethje just because I feel like he is the most entertaining guy of all time at this point. I'm going to just say it. We move on to the next division. And I've gone with Carlos Prates. Now, I tried to mix it up a bit in terms of these guys are all entertaining for different reasons. Like, Gaethje's entertaining because every single fight he's in is a fucking banger. Peter Yan's entertaining just because of how good he is and how well-rounded he is and just how he mixes it up. The reason I put Prates here is because even though he's never really been in like a banger, all-out war in the UFC, it's just, he's slumping people in one shot, you know? And that's also entertaining in my opinion. Every single fight he's had, apart from the Ian Gary one, he's just killed his opponent. Leon was losing the whole fight. Bang. Dead. One shot. Didn't even land clean. Jeff Neal, again, knockout of the year contender. Neil Magny, barely even touched him, put him out. Leach, that was a fucking disgusting knockout. Remember they cut back, they showed like 5 replays of the knockout, they cut back to the cage and Leach was still asleep, it was crazy. Knee to the body finish here, put Charles out cold. Even the Ian Gary one, even though he lost the decision, it was pretty clear. The last visual we got in the last 90 seconds of the fight was Ian Gary crawling away while Prates is trying to finish him. And to be honest, if Prates actually went for it a bit more, he probably would have got it. He was kind of like looking for a one shot, put him away, and it's like, bro, just throw like 5 or 6 elbows on the ground, you're going to finish the fight. So even then, it was a crazy ending to the fight. And the last visual we got was of him dog walking Ian Gary, it looked like. But yeah, that's why I've gone with Prates. You know, I wanted to mix it up a bit. I didn't just want to go with guys like Roy Val, who are just involved in scraps, you know. Prates is entertaining just because he's knocking guys out, and there's always that, like, even when he's losing the fight, like the Leon one, he lost round 1, it was always like, alright, he's gonna as soon as he lands one shot, it's over. I think Perez is pound for pound the hardest hitting guy in the UFC right now. I could make a separate video on that, but that is also why I find them entertaining, just because that danger is always there, and it just takes one shot with him. We've seen it like 4 times now. So we'll move on to the next weight class. I think these next to a few people, I think a lot of people would agree with me on these. But our middleweight, we're going with Dricus du Plessis. Now, obviously, his last fight wasn't great, entertainment-wise. It was a great performance from Hamzat, but it wasn't fun to watch. But outside of that, this guy's... I mean, the short one wasn't great either. Fuck, I'm starting to regret. No, I'm just kidding. This guy is one of the most entertaining guys in the UFC. His rise up to the belt was one of the most entertaining ones I've ever seen. You know, we can go through his fight history here. We'll go to the ones before the belt. Even some of the title fights were entertaining. First Strickland fight, that was a good fight. Izzy fight was actually a great fight before the finish. But we'll just go through some of these. I thought Giles was his debut. Yeah, I think it is. Giles, crazy knockout. I'm pretty sure he was losing basically most of the fight, and then he backs himself up against the cage, throws the most autistic combination you've ever seen, and just sleeps him. Brad Tavares, this was one of the most... Okay, no, he did that. Oh yeah, he did. He came he dressed up as a clown or something, and the face off, and then got slumped with the back of the head elbow. That was quite funny. Tavares was one of the most autistic fights I've ever seen. Darren Till was a crazy fight. He 10-8'd Till in the first round. Then started getting pieced up in the second and third round, and then just took him down with ease and choked him out. It was weird. Derek Brunson fight was one of the most autistic ones I've ever seen. This card, I remember, it was on the John Jones Cyril Gane card. It was on the prelims, and I had my mate around my house. Like, it was like a family thing. And then he'd never watched MMA before, and I was trying to convince him, like, oh yeah, watch this card with me, So he watched the prelims with me, and this was the first ever MMA fight he saw. I'm not surprised he never watched again. This was the drunkest shit I've ever seen. Entertaining-wise, it was great, but I was trying to convince this guy that this was the best sport in the world, and he saw these two absolute retards killing each other, and then the ending getting messed up when the corner threw the towel in, and Herb Dean just didn't notice or something. But yeah, it was a crazy fight. Rob fight, again, nuts. I was so confident in Rob, and then he just got steamrolled. So yeah, I'm going to just have to go with Dricus. His style is too retarded for him to not be the most entertaining guy in the UFC at this point, you know? Every fight he's in, no technique, just going out there doing shit, and it somehow works most of the time. So yeah, I'm going to go with Dricus. I don't know why he doesn't have a fucking fight booked. I think he's injured. But it's going to be a year since we saw him. Why are you not fighting Brendan Allen or something? I don't know. I feel like they're going to match him up with Imavov, which is kind of dumb, because you're just taking out one of the 2 top contenders at that point. But whatever. Dricus du Plessis, most entertaining middleweight, in my opinion. Then we'll go to the next one. I ain't even going to pretend to build it up. We knew who this was going to be. Yuri Prohaska, who will be champion in precisely, what day is it? Tuesday. Just over 5 days time from now. 5 days and 11 hours from when I'm recording this. I'm going with Yuri. I nearly said by knockout then, like I'm doing a prediction video. I'm going with Yuri for the most entertaining guy in light heavyweight. Arguably the most entertaining guy in the UFC right now. If someone said that, I'm not going to sit here and argue with them. Because in terms of how many UFC fights this guy's had, he might be the most entertaining. Like, genuinely. Go for it. Like, Ozdemir, crazy knockout in the second round. Dominic Reyes, fight of the year, and probably the best knockout. What year was this? 2021? I think this was knockout of the year. I can't think of a better one off the top of my head. Glover, one of the best title fights I've ever seen. This is the best light heavyweight title fight ever. Not Jones versus Gus. That fight is so overrated. This one clears it so bad. The Pereira ones, not great fights, but still crazy fights. Like, with the knockout and stuff. And Yuri was actually... This one was pretty entertaining to me. Yuri was doing really well until he wasn't. Rakic fight, again, nuts. And then these two were both obviously crazy fights as well. The round 3 of Yuri versus Khalil is one of the craziest rounds I've seen in the last few years. So yeah, I'm going to have to go with Yuri here. We're going to see another banger this weekend versus Oldberg, most likely. It's either going to be a quick finish or an absolute war. So that's why I'm excited for it. Why everyone's excited for it. And yeah, this was one of the more obvious ones, I feel like, in my opinion. Even though there are some entertaining guys, Pereira. Pereira's obviously still technically the champ for now, I think. I don't even know. There is a few other entertaining guys in the division, but it has to be Yuri. This guy is one of the most nuts guys I've ever seen when he's fighting. Now we move on. The final one, heavyweight division, and I'm going to have to go with Tom Aspinall. I know his last fight, for some reason, everyone's now turned on him because he got fouled and then the fight got cancelled. Or a no contest, sorry. And people are more mad at him than the guy who fouled him. But whatever. MMA fans are retarded. It's still Tom Aspinall. Going for all his fights before. First round knockout. First minute knockout. A minute and 9 seconds knockout. I've seen Tom Aspinall fight twice, and the 2 fights have lasted like live when I was in the arena, and the 2 fights have lasted a total of 2 minutes and 13 seconds. I saw his Tybura one when he came back from his injury, and I saw the Blades one with his title defense. Those were the 2 where I was there. So yeah, that's pretty funny to think about. But yeah, again, first round knockout. This was obviously the injury. First round finish versus Volkov. First round knockout again. Like, he's knocking everyone out in the first round, the first minute for the most part recently. When he fights Gane again, I think he's going to finish him in the first... fuck it, I'll say first round. Why not? I think he'll finish him in the first couple rounds either way. Oh, I went too far. And I'm excited for that. You know, at heavyweight, it's like, really, when you think about it, heavyweight should be the one where we've got the more entertaining guys, but it's not, because half of them are just fucking fat slobs at this point. Like, realistically, if you go through the heavyweight division... Does it let me go through the rankings now? You got, like, Tom Pavlovich, but his last couple of fights haven't been great entertainment-wise. I mean, Derek Lewis, just because the KO is always there. But then you also look at the Ngannou fight, and look how he fought versus Wilder, and it's like, yeah, this guy is not anywhere near the most entertaining guy in the division. Who else even is it? Gane's not entertaining. I mean, like, Tuivasa and stuff like that, but again, it's like he's a fat fuck who just swings big shots. Like, I'm not going to put him as the most entertaining. Like, he's had a couple fun fights, but I'd put someone like Tom here instead, who's entertaining just because he's so much better than everyone he fought, basically, and he's finishing them all in the first round. And also, I think Pereira is coming into the division is going to be a good thing for the division, even though I might lean Gane right now. Even though Gane shouldn't be getting the fucking title shot, but anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, Tom, most entertaining heavyweight in my opinion. Let me know who you think the most entertaining guy is for the rest of the divisions. You know, there's a few options for most of the weight classes. There's a couple of obvious ones, but there's a lot of great entertaining guys in the UFC right now. I'll probably do my full, what number is it this weekend? UFC 327 card predictions tomorrow, or maybe a card builder, I'm not sure. But yeah, like I said, let me know in the comments who you think the most entertaining guy is. Make sure you subscribe and go follow my Twitter. And yeah, thank you for watching. Till next time.